This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Jack Threads. Coming up, we're down in San Diego and there's so much to talk about from Comic-Con 2012.
While Comic-Con is officially over for you guys.
Wait, it's right back there, Dan. What are you talking about?
How could it be over? Look at that. I'm buying shirts.
For us, it's still very much alive. This is all green screen.
Yeah.
We're here in the studio.
That's not true.
No, we are still in San Diego. It is the last day of Comic-Con for us right now.
No, it's the last day of Comic-Con, period. It's not like we made it up.
No, but they're watching this
Oh, right,
later.
yes, that's true.
Time travel's
Time
hard.
travel's hard. My brain hurts. I should see more Doctor
What a
Who
con!
movies.
What a crazy con it's been.
It's crazy.
Wow. This is by far the craziest that it's been. Bah.
Well, you've been very busy.
I've been very busy.
And as you'll see later on in the week, Alex didn't have a chance to see anything that we saw on Friday.
Or
But
Thursday.
Or
Saturday was the big day anyway.
Saturday was the big day. Yesterday
And by
for
the
us.
grace of God, I was able to get into Hall H.
That's right.
It was the win of the con, in my opinion.
Amazing. Slept right in to see Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures panel. We'll talk about that first.
Yep.
We have that in Marvel to
Are we going to
discuss.
skip right over Django Unchained?
I think we
Because I thought that was a
there's
pretty
lot
cool
to talk
panel.
about,
I know there
but
is.
Yeah,
I just want to say it was a pretty cool panel, and we're
Pretty
super
cool.
excited about that movie.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Missed it.
So, kicked right off with Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim, which is about giant robots fighting giant monsters.
It's sort of like what does he call it? Kenji? Is that what he calls it?
Kaiju.
Kaiju.
Is, I think, the Japanese term for the giant monsters.
But it's that, but taken very seriously, very, honestly.
I don't
kind
know
of thing.
how seriously it's taken. But,
Seriously enough that they look like they exist instead of guys in rubber suits.
Right.
That's what I meant by serious.
So, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy and Rinko Kikuchi pilot, these robots are piloted by two
Pilots.
pilots that like share a brain to pilot the robots, and they move around like robot jocks inside them. We saw extended footage that no one will see for until
Yeah, he said they're going radio silence
Yeah.
until the end of the year.
Yeah.
What did you guys
I thought
were
it.
saying-
it
yeah.
Well, I thought it was visually very stunning, and it was a theme of realistic moving giant monsters was really a theme of the panel, because you get that like slow lumbering, which I don't know how that's going to translate into fun action, but I will say everything that was coming out of Guillermo del Toro's mouth made me go, this is going to be an awesome movie. The footage was also awesome, but I was more enamored by Guillermo del Toro saying things like, what is the monster doing? He's just standing like this. What is he doing? Like, why would he be doing this? Things like that made me go, oh, okay. And he said they're hand animating it, meaning they're keyframing it. They're not using motion capture. A lot of that stuff gets me really excited about the prospects of what this is going to look like visually. And the footage was amazing, but it didn't really it wasn't like heart swelling. But what he was saying, I was like, I basically I just want to go to lunch with Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro gives good panel.
He gives
that's
great
for
panels.
sure.
Maybe the best.
He's like Kevin Smith, and he's a very good
he's
showman.
of this place. Plus, he can speak well
Yeah.
about movies.
Yeah.
Plus, he cares, and that comes across.
Yeah. What did you think of the footage?
I completely agree with you. I was much more interested in what he had to say, and what he kept talking about, how if you've thought about a giant robot fighting a giant monster, we've thought that too, and we put it in the movie.
Right.
If whatever your wildest fantasy about what that could possibly be on the best day with the biggest budget, we thought that too. We also want that, and we're putting it in the movie.
Yeah.
What they showed didn't. If I had that divorced from any presentation from Del Toro
Yeah.
or any context,
Yeah.
I would have looked at that footage and I don't think I would have been very impressed, honestly. I think I would have looked at it and been like, oh, somebody's trying to make their version of Transformers. I will say the up close stuff, the people-sized stuff inside the cockpits looked awesome. And it made me think, this is why stuff like motion control in video games and Kinect is exciting to people. Because on some level, people want to be actually doing something and have it translate into something grand, which is what this movie is kind of about. It's about these guys, you know, they're walking inside the suits, and then outside the suit, this giant thing is walking.
Yeah,
super
pretty
cool.
Pretty epic.
That stuff really cool. The actual giant robots, while we didn't see a lot of it, and while it's clearly not done.
And they said there's 6 robots.
Yeah,
it's like there's 9 monsters.
9 monsters, 6 robots.
That's the thing. It's not like one robot versus one monster. It's
and the effects
arsenals.
I mean, this movie is a long way away, and so it's hard to judge.
Planes,
jets
fighting, swooping in and fighting.
It was
monsters.
very.
I just wasn't as excited about it as I.
What about you, Dan?
Well, after that, I think it could go either way. But after that, we saw. Very excitingly, it was unannounced. We knew about the movie, but it was unannounced that it was going to be screening here at Comic-Con. Godzilla. This is a reboot, or American remake, the second American remake, from the director of Monsters. We talked about that movie on the show. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It was the very low budget, by the seat of your pants.
Monster movie.
Relationship movie set amongst
It
monsters.
really wasn't a monster movie. It was a relationship movie. You're right.
But so from that, Gareth Edwards is the director, and from that visual standpoint and filmmaking standpoint, really, we see this trailer for Godzilla that looks like shots that look like the aftermath of an atom bomb, set to voiceover from, I think, something related to the atom bomb, and music from 2001. And then we see hints through dust and things of God's not like really cool a new take on a giant creature. It is classic Godzilla, but still handled in a very serious tick. That's why I was puzzled when you were talking about. I thought you misheard me, because with Pacific Rim, that felt like the real fantastical version of monsters. This is like the serious, like.
Well, I think that one of the most arresting scenes that was shown all day, or maybe even all con, I wasn't in a lot of it, was that shot of the train that was stepped on and just strewn with dead bodies. And that is one of those things where you go, oh, right, when Godzilla is in a rubber suit knocking over buildings, hundreds and hundreds of people are in those buildings and are dying. And you don't really put that two together. This serious version. And goosebumps. When that thing, Godzilla screams, goosebumps.
Very iconic sound.
I will agree. It's an incredible visual moment. I think it's a misnomer to call it a trailer. I think it's very much a teaser.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't think anything that we saw in that teaser is the movie.
Right.
I think it was made to be a teaser. And I hope the movie feels like that.
Yeah.
Clearly it's meant to convey the tonal take on Godzilla, and I'm excited about that take. I'm afraid of getting myself too worked up too soon based on what is very much a teaser and really showed nothing of what I think the movie is going to be. It's just sort of like, this is how it might feel.
Right.
That feel I'm very excited about.
I think that scene could very easily be in the movie, and I think that's what excited me. Was Godzilla was always an allegory for the atomic bomb, and something about this take on it made it click for me. That I never, as a kid, I mean, I was also younger, but as a kid, people would say that. I would hear my dad, this is really and I was like, really? It's just and this is like, not just hearing that VO, but that devastation. And I feel like now people, and thinking about monsters, like people are going to be talking about it like, okay, so now there's this giant thing. Like when the atomic bomb happened, no one knew what happened.
Right.
And they'd be like, what just happened? Is that like doomsday? Is that, So this is like, okay, there's this giant thing just happened. We have to deal with that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. We have to talk about that now. Like that this movie in that context is breathtaking.
Yeah, definitely. Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel, the next Superman movie.
Actually, before that, we saw Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, which we don't need to talk about too much. I just want to say it's why Comic-Con is special. Yeah. It's why people come to Comic-Con. Because basically, they showed some of the movie, which was fun. It looked very funny. But it was just those two guys out on stage with no plan or script, and people were coming up and asking questions, and it was just a real moment of two very funny individuals,
Yeah.
and it's something that you'll never get again anywhere else. It only happens at Comic-Con, and it's one of those special moments for me
private show for
my
6,500
face was
people.
hurting
Yeah,
from
me
laughing
too.
so hard
Me
at just
too.
those guys being those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Then we saw.
I agree. Man of Steel, produced by Christopher Nolan, directed by Zack Snyder, did 300 and Watchmen and Sucker Punch. Henry Cavill comes out, the star. He is Clark Kent / Superman.
I don't believe he's a real person.
You think he is?
I think he's an alien from the planet Handsome.
Ah,
Really, not.
he is. They want him back.
Not.
Gorgitron?
Yeah.
Gorgiton?
God. Yeah.
Oh, he's an actor. Come on, Dan.
So, what did you guys think of
This was the thing I was most excited about.
And let me say too. Well, you may now have seen this. It's attached to Dark Knight. We saw something different.
Well, no, yeah,
but
oh,
you
yeah,
will
right.
have seen a teaser attached to Dark Knight, so you may have seen similar stuff. What we saw really stood out from any other Superman thing we've seen.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because I think it didn't have that John Williams score. It didn't feel like the music wasn't superhero music. It was music from the movie Thin Red Line that was also used in the trailer for Pearl Harbor. So very like emotional, powerful, slow, brooding music.
Yeah.
And I think that, in contrast to the imagery that we associate with Superman,
Felt very Americana.
sets this tone for us
Dude,
to talk
I will
about
tell
right
you.
now.
I will
So
tell
what
you
did
right
think?
now.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried about this movie. There have been rumblings that some people have seen it and were like, meh, you know what I mean? Which, all that stuff could just be BS. But I will tell you, there's a shot where you see a boy in, like, Kansas with the red cape, jeans, and a white t-shirt, and you don't see the boy. And it's one of those things I love about sort of new filmmaking, which is he just starts to put his fists up like this, and you only see, like, a little bit. You don't see the whole thing. As soon as he got close to that pose, fucking goosebump. I mean, like, I was not excited about this movie. Not excited. After seeing that footage, I want to be watching it right now. I literally am like, I'm mad that I can't be watching that movie right now. And I was not I was like, whatever, Man of Steel, whatever, Superman, you know what I mean? It was very impressive.
This is the movie I was most excited about for Comic-Con, mostly because we hadn't seen anything about it, and it was going to be the big coming out party for it. And boy, I got chills watching it. For everything you said,
Yeah.
the feel, the tone. A lot of people are saying very Terrence Malick. That sort of that feeling of recalling childhood and that sense of wonder of oh, if only I could fly.
Yeah.
Which, a lot of people describe every Superman movie as having, but this feels grounded in a completely different way. But what I'm most excited about, yes, all that stuff was evocative and interesting and kind of magical. There are glimpses of kick-assery. There's a shot. They showed us the footage twice.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it until the second time, but there's a shot of two flying men slamming into each other.
Yeah.
There's shots of Superman flying. There's
the
shots
bank
of
thing. Come on.
Yes, there's shots of Jor-El, which is Russell Crowe.
And looked amazing, by the way.
There's a lot of stuff here. There's a shot of Superman getting slammed into a wall and like peeling himself off, all badass.
A bank vault
I
door.
am super excited. It did not feel Zack Snyder-y in that sort of slow motion 300 Watchmen way that we kind of associate with him. Yes, this is a trailer that may not have that stuff, but I was really excited, and it is high on my list of most anticipated movies now. I'm not sad about losing the John Williams score. I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think this is going to be a really exciting, fresh take.
Yeah. What did you think?
I think it was a beautiful teaser trailer. I could go either way. I think a lot of the poetry came in from the trailer. And it could
could be in the movie or not in the movie.
Or not be in the movie.
Smart. Always bringing it back to realism.
And I think the Terrence Malick comparisons, once again, they come from that music. Because, like you just pointed out, that Americana, I was thinking, it's very Norman Rockwellian. I'm like, but so was Brian Singer. So was that kid in the farm.
Yeah.
They're all that way.
that way.
So it's like really the way that trailer is. It's that music, honestly.
Yeah.
But it could be awesome. After that, we saw quite a bit.
12 minutes.
The Hobbit.
Yes. Behind the scenes, which you probably, now that vlog of the
Video
last day
vlog
of
of
shooting is probably online. We saw that, and then we saw footage Not in 48 frames, not in 3D, how it will be released, but still quite a bit of footage of The Hobbit, not just of the first part, The Unexpected Journey, that's going to come out in December, but
some
also
from
of
the second.
perhaps of the other. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we don't know which parts from which, but
Yeah.
so, and the cast was all there. Gandalf was there.
Not enough Ian McKellen.
What did you think? What did you think of?
Man, this I think
Tolkien zombie from way back.
I am.
Yes.
I am. So I think that coming out of Comic-Con, you might not hear a lot of people talking about The Hobbit just because it was the known quantity. The movies look and feel intentionally like Lord of the Rings, which sort of feels like a 5-year-old, however old it is, movie. So I think that people are sort of like, oh yeah, well, it's not Pacific Rim. It's not this thing that I had never seen before.
Yeah.
But for my money, what they showed for The Hobbit, I was kind of getting choked up watching some of it. What I loved about what they showed is it was mostly scenes that were subdued, that were sort of setting things up, that were long, that were there's this wonderful moment between Gollum and Bilbo at the bottom of the whatever it's called, that it just plays wonderfully. I got really emotionally attached, and then they cut to the awesome. Look at how cool all the badass action scenes are.
Yeah.
Every time a character comes up that we've seen before, Legolas or Galadriel, and the actor is there again, it's like this is really something. This is a touchstone in cinema history, and I cannot wait for this movie. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I have that sort of like
malaise.
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, I've seen this before, and it was good the last time, but also, it's hard to pull away from the whole like some of the stuff I didn't think it looked all that good, and it was even just the 24p version of it, not the 48 version.
Really?
And I'm the guy who's going to hate the 48p version. I know I'm going to. I'm always talking about how when it looks digital, it just makes me not want to see the movie. I just don't like that. It feels not like a feature film to me. And I know that there are people who like me out there, and there are people who aren't like me. I mean, there are a lot of times we come out of movies that I'm like.
Versions too, but
I think they're going to because of the technology.
Beyond that though, 3D, and we didn't see in 3D, but like, and just being shot digital. I mean, first
there's
Lord of the
a lot
Rings were
of
on
new
film, and like.
But
3D
that
is
said, I think
so major, and we didn't get to see that.
I know, but that said, I think. I mean, it's one of those things where I think the malaise is, yeah, I'm gonna see it. It's a fucking Hobbit.
There's also when we.
You know what I mean? Like that's how I see it. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Of course I'm gonna see this
given.
movie. It's a given. I'm gonna see the movie. It's Lord of the Rings.
But,
go.
And beyond that too, when the trailers for each of those Hobbit movies came out, they contained shots and moments that were like, what? Like, oh my God, a giant battle scene we hadn't seen. That was the first. After that, we started seeing battle sequences in movies that were
like that.
Yeah.
On that scale.
So anything we saw on this trail, there was no shot in this. Not that that's what it's all about, and you commented on all the other stuff, but there's no shot in this that had anything that was like, show-stopping.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought was so wonderful about it.
It didn't need
the
it.
small moments for me were the showstoppers. The character moments, the relationships that we've now had. I mean, I've had since I read the books when I was a kid, but we've all had as a cultural with these actors and these. This film style we've all had for almost a decade or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know. I think there's something special about that. At least it resonated for me.
Yeah.
I was tired, and we were in that hall forever, and I was kind of getting antsy at that point. So I don't think I could
absorbed it.
Yeah, I don't think I can really comment on it. That I think is it.
For Warner Brothers Legendary,
Warner Brothers Legendary.
And then guess what? Marvel came up and went, bam! Iron Man 3.
They know how to put on a panel, dude. First of all, they started with showing like clips from every Marvel panel since 2006.
Leading up to the Avengers, which is awesome.
Yeah, they've been building this. They've been building.
And by the way, the first clip of Kevin Feige saying, well, all of this is in 2006. We're assuming that if all goes well, it is hopefully leading up to an Avengers movie. In 2006, you can tell from the background, not in Hall H.
Yeah.
Like that was the Marvel panel in whatever.
And here we are. Avengers is owning the world.
Yeah.
But they didn't even start. I mean, they freaking
Sort of.
Captain America.
So yeah, they announced a lot of big movies: Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Covered on this show.
We'll talk about way more, I'm sure,
yeah.
coming up. And Thor is now going to be called Dark World.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And we saw some test footage from Edgar
Ant-Man.
Wright's Ant-Man. This is not an announced movie.
Well,
They've been
has
talking about it
no,
forever,
they announced
but-
it in like 2006, and
Right,
then
but
everybody
it's-
went and ditched
doesn't-
it and
it's
stuff. It's not going.
Not in production.
Right.
But we saw test footage. The thing that I don't think any of us expected was how Edgar Wright interpreted translating the Ant-Man to the screen, in that we're seeing an action scene where this Ant-Man is infiltrating a hallway with armed guards.
Yeah.
And he's a little tiny Ant-Man, flies to a vent,
Yeah.
gets big, charging towards guards. They pull out their guns, they're about to shoot, gets small, runs on the barrel of a gun,
Dude.
leaps off the gun, hops
Punches the
onto
guy.
a guy's face, kicks him in like slow motion, the guy's like
Yeah.
whatever. And then as he's like flying across the face, we assume in tiny ant form, gets bigger and then grabs him and throws him through a window. I mean, like someone in the
God,
blogosphere coined the term size foo. And I think
That's
that
great.
is very
Wow.
accurate.
And you know, it's amazing because I was one of those people that was skeptical about Ant-Man working at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in the Marvel world. And I think we all collectively as a, whatever, thought, oh, the guy who made
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead and
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim, they're going to be a comedy take. This is going to be a
Yeah.
joke version of Ant-Man. And of course, Ant-Man works as a joke version. He's a little guy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No. This was, hey, I'm going to prove to you that a guy who can get small and big can be badass.
Yeah.
And it totally sold me. Totally sold
Running
me.
on
I'm
the
like,
gun. As soon as he
get
was
this
running on the
guy-
gun, I was like, I love Ant-Man.
Get this guy in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Hank Pym it
And he
up.
looked cool. He looked like a little like
Yeah.
ninja, or like the dudes from Mortal
outfit
Kombat,
was really
Crytek,
cool.
or
Outfit
whatever.
very
Yeah.
authentic,
Yeah.
to the comic. Why has nobody even in the comics thought to do the quick changes from small to big, super fast?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Uh,
Phenomenopia.
Then we saw footage from Iron Man 3. This is written and directed by 80s legend Shane Black, Lethal
Yeah.
Weapon, Last Boy Scout, and then he made his directorial debut with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is the movie that Travolta'd
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Totally.
And kind of got him.
Well, even
to Iron Man
he
in
was
a certain
saying
way.
that he thought he looked at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as his audition as his test footage before he had to do test footage,
Right.
test for Iron
Screen
Man.
test, yeah.
Screen test.
John Favreau, because he's not directing, is now, it seems like, has a much bigger role as Happy Hogan in
Yeah.
Iron Man, which is exciting because I always feel like he steals all those
Yeah.
scenes, which is hard to do with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
We saw some cool footage. We saw a suit flying towards,
Yeah.
A very comedic moment.
towards
Fun.
Tony Stark to build it, and then badass footage. What did you think of?
I
Iron
mean,
Man 3?
it. First of all, it's Mandarin. They showed Mandarin,
That's right,
which
yes.
is Sir Ben Kingsley,
Doing
which
an
is
awesome voice thing,
great
too.
casting.
Yeah, it's great.
The costume, the rings, like it's all amazing. I'm so excited about that. It showed a scale. I mean, it looks like Stark Enterprises, his house
Yeah,
on
Malibu
the
gets
coast
destroyed,
is completely destroyed. It didn't look like a huge departure for Iron Man. We didn't see any hints of Extremis like we were all guessing it is going to be, which I think it still is going to be. But I mean, it looks like more awesome Iron Man fun.
Yeah.
And who can't love Robert Downey Jr.? He charmed the hell out of the audience, as he always does.
My pants were off.
It's
They
true,
were
and
charmed
it's a
off.
must-see. And we actually had, while we were eating dinner that night, Iron Man 2 was playing back on the screens, and I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? That was a fucking great movie. Like
I should rewatch.
right, that because I was meh. I was like, oh, Iron Man 1's good, meh. And then I started watching
You did
stuff.
rewatch it and you didn't.
No,
You were
no,
like,
no.
I rewatched it and it was like,
No, I was
Oh.
rewatching it at the restaurant.
I thought before that, but yeah.
No, I don't know. But anyway, it got me. It reminded me that even though there may have been dips in the series, I still love Iron Man. I still love Tony Stark.
Actually-
and coming off Avengers, it's like
That
I want to
shirt
go.
is awesome, by the way.
They actually
It says,
talked.
"May the F equals MA be with you."
Oh, funny.
Force equals mass times acceleration.
They talked about actually the alcoholic tangent that Iron Man 2 took and how that.
They're not really gonna do that.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe that was not
Yeah.
a good idea. Anyway.
But anyway.
That
Dude,
is
so much fun.
yeah.
So much great
really,
stuff.
Saturday kicked a lot of butt. this Comic-Con has kicked a lot of butt. We have a lot of purchasing to do.
We're gonna
go some shopping.
It's gonna be shopping time, USA, right here in
Happy
San
Comic-Con
Diego.
2012,
Happy Comic-Con
guys.
2012.
Happy Comic-Con.
We'll see you in a year.
And thanks everybody who came to our panel.
Yes.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're gonna be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsors. Jeff?
We've been to Comic-Con,
We are.
and we've seen some people dressed in some pretty interesting outfits, let me say.
I bet you they made those.
And they probably did make them, which means...
They were jacked up, those threads.
You think those threads were jacked?
Yeah.
I feel like you're making that into a negative thing.
I don't
but
know.
That's a positive thing. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Who said what? Who said what? Mike?
Well, they can
Mike?
be jacked, or you can jack them up.
I think they got jacked up.
Okay. We are dangerously close.
Wait a second.
Jack Threads is a place, if you don't have the time, energy, or inclination to create your own costumes, but you still want to look fly, you want to look good in sweet alternative brands.
You don't want to look like the Fly.
Yeah.
You just want to look fly.
How would you dress as the Fly, Dan?
Well, the
Naked.
human Fly. No, the human Fly.
Oh.
Comic book character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Name, name three, just off the top of your head, name three alternative brands that are really cool.
Okay. Kid Robot, Stussy,
And the Stiflos Marshmallow Man.
Hurley.
Yeah, all
Nice.
three of those available at jackthreads.com, as well as many, many more. And you can get them for up to 80% off, so you can look fly and look awesome and hang out with some of those sweet girls and sweet, awesome low-cut stuff at the Comic-Con. I'm talking about the ladies that we see
Right.
with wings and makeup. And they have
All right.
skimp. Well, it's skimpy. There's a waiting list to join. Here's the thing. There's a waiting list to join Jack Threads, which is the complicated part. Much like Comic-Con, it's not easy to get in. We can make it easy for you to get in to jackthreads.com.
Yes.
Jackthreads.com/TRS is your hookup. Do you want to get hooked up? Get hooked up. Jackthreads.com/TRS.
When should they go?
Immediately. If not
Now! All right, people. Thank you so much for your
Send your
love and
backgrounds.
affection. Send in backgrounds.
What was that
Let's
gesture?
send in your backgrounds. Backgrounds. We'll see you.
Join us tomorrow for our live Comic-Con panel.
Today's Twitter question sent in to us with the hashtag TRSQ was sent in by @BubbaMud, who asks, if you were to start a rock and roll band, what would the name be? Oh man, if I had a nickel for every time I've gone, that would be a perfect rock and roll band name, and none of them are going to think of them. I'll tell you this, when Rock Band was a thing, I would always name mine Cannata Stop a Rockin'.
Very nice. Very apropos of you.
Top that.
I was gonna say ours would be Alpha 2.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or the Starlight Express.
Totally Rock Band.
Totally Rock
Totally
Band.
Rock Band. Actually, the Totally Rad Band. The Rad Band.
That's great. Dan's band.
Dan's band. The Dan Trachtenberg
Nats,
Experience
the
featuring Dan
Nats.
Trachtenberg.
There is the Trachtenberg Experience. The Trachtenberg Sideshow Family Players, but it's with the URG instead of ERG, and I'm not related.
Don't even think about
Well, no,
it.
people, I get
Well,
that.
seriously, what would you name yours?
I've had, like you said, I don't know, the scooch to the booch. I don't know.
Scooch to the
boot.
I don't know. Scooch to the boot.
All right, everybody, coming up next is Scooch to the Booch.
I haven't thought about this at all.
It's
Scooch to the
just
boot.
Scooch to the Booch. I have a t-shirt logo design in my sketch pad. I mean, just out of nowhere.
It could be anything, really. Scooch to the boot.
It's good. It's good. Thank you,
Anything
Bubba
else?
Mud.
No.
Thanks, Bubba.